A very warm welcome to every one of you. We are back yet again on the Voice of the Apostles. Please, everybody, wherever you are, make sure you are sharing the page. You're sharing tell them that the program we're always looking for has started, and just get sharing the link because it's another exciting episode this evening, and I'm just so excited. I think I'm almost jumping right now because it's just so overwhelming, and I'm so excited because we are still trying to just get the political fever in the game, and we're trying to have different flavors wherever we are. And I'm relatively excited this evening because we have the aspiring presidential candidate for Heritage Party, and this is no other than Chishala Kateka. You people, she is standing as a president. Wow, how about that? And that is, I'm just so excited to have her this evening. But before we do that, we are going to be right back in a short minute or two.
Zambia, our land, our prosperity. For so long, we have been robbed of our God-given inheritance. Here is the party that has been crafted to address the plight of the Zambian people. Let Zambians win. Zambia, our heritage. The new Heritage Party.
Zambia ni zigo latu, asiye ni antu akondwele. Zambia wa heritage, konseribide diga vote. Awalanda wa prosperity, kuminzi muzi patala na gumacharichi. Umuntu wakabira ni nani, chipata sorozi mpaka chisari. Chishala Kateka, nobagende kumusanza musimbi wabola ngoyo. Chishala Kateka, nabatu washa sana umupusu shapa nafka. Chishala Kateka, asibweni kulundazi mugumba mama wiza. Chishala Kateka, chivote msogoleri we asiba vea chita. Let all Zambians win. Zigoni yatu tonse waguma yadi na komboni. Corruption free, uniting Zambians. Chitukuko chibwele muzigo, amaketia mafama na si vosevanti. Muzigo mungale equality. Kumaba Chishala, muchinga Kateka. Kopa belti western na nega nega. Wakavira Chishala, Chishala Kateka. Balefwa Chishala, Chishala Kateka. Wakavira Chishala, Chishala Kateka. Zambians win. Zigoni yatu tonse waguma yadi na komboni. Corruption free, uniting Zambians. Chitukuko chibwele muzigo, amaketia mafama na si vose vanti. Muzigo mungale equality, kumaba Chishala Muchinga Kateka, Kopa Belt Western na nega nega. Wakabira Chishala, Chishala Kateka, Balefwa Chishala, Chishala Kateka, Wakabira Chishala, Chishala Kateka, Balefwa Chishala.
Zambia, our heritage. Let Zambians win. The new Heritage Party.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Zambia, our land, our prosperity. For so long, we have been robbed of our God-given inheritance. Here is the party that has been crafted to address the plight of the Zambian people. Let Zambians win. Zambia, our heritage. The new Heritage Party.
Zambia ni zigo latu, asiye ni antu akondwele. Zambia wa heritage, tonse ripide tika vote. Awalanda wa prosperity, kuminzi muzipatala na kumachalichi. Umuntu wakabira ni nani, chipata sorwezi mpaka chisari. Chishala Kateka, novajende kumusanza musimbi wa bolangoyo. Chishala Kateka, nabatu washa sana umupusu shapa nafka. Chishala Kateka, asibweni kulundazi mugumba mama wiza. Chishala Kateka, chivote msogoleri we asiba vea chita. Let all Zambians win. Zigoni yatu tonse waguma yadi na komboni. Corruption free, uniting Zambians. Chitukuko chibwele muzigo, amaketia mafama na si vose vanti. Muzigo mungale equality, kumaba Chishala Muchinga Kateka, Kopa Belt Western na nega nega. Wakabira Chishala, Chishala Kateka, Balefwa Chishala, Chishala Kateka, Wakabira Chishala, Chishala Kateka, Balefwa Chishala. Let all Zambians win. Zigoni yatu tonse waguma yadi na komboni. Corruption free, uniting Zambians. Chitukuko chibwele muzigo, amaketia mafama na si vose vanti. Muzigo mungale equality, kumaba Chishala Muchinga Kateka, Kopa Belt Western na nega nega. Wakabira Chishala, Chishala Kateka, Balefwa Chishala, Chishala Kateka, Wakabira Chishala, Chishala Kateka, Balefwa Chishala.
Zambia, our heritage. Let Zambians win. The new Heritage Party.
Praise the Lord. I feel like break dancing right now because the intro itself is just driving me crazy. It's a very welcome evening to all our listeners wherever you are joining us live this evening. Welcome to Dream Center TV, and I am just so excited. Wherever you are, please share the link, Get of Glory, and just make sure that you tell the people that your favorite program has started yet again. And I am just so excited this evening. Like I said, we have privileged to have a great woman who Good evening, Mom.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm very well,
Is it
thank
my
you.
is it my connectivity or yours that is bad?
Yes, it's the connectivity, but now we can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yes, very, very clearly. I can hear you.
Okay, it was just in the beginning a bit of technicalities, but we can hear you loud and clear now.
Oh, that's great.
Awesome. Very
Yeah.
welcome to you this evening. I'm so happy to have you. I'm shaking right now because of just you're welcome to the Voice of the Apostles, Mom.
Thank you very much. It's such a great honor to be on your show.
Yes. We've been
Yeah.
yes, please go ahead, Mom.
No. I just wanted to say that I'm really grateful to be invited and I'm honored to be on your show.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes, and I look forward to the discussion. I like this topic.
I'm excited about it as well. I mean, we have been dealing with this program on the Voice of Apostles, and we are talking about think, pray, and vote. So everything we're
Mhm.
discussing is relating to politics and just Zambia being a Christian nation. How do we align around that? And I'm just so excited because we thought you would be a great voice to be part of this program and just
Yes.
inspire a lot of people who want to just hear more about you. So I would like us to start with a quick introduction on who Chishala Kateka is. The quick introduction, by that I mean probably people would want to know who you are. They want to know your age, your marital status, your background,
Yeah.
your
Okay.
education background, just a little bit on what you can tell the people if they were to know who Chishala Kateka is and who this female president is.
Okay. So I am a very passionate Zambian,
Yeah.
equally passionate Christian. I went to the University of Zambia, studied economics, and
Hmm.
then I studied accountancy after that. I'm a fellow
Hmm.
chartered accountant. I spent most of my formative years in working as an auditor, and then went into consultancy. I went into management, and eventually ended up sitting on various boards, including I chaired the competition commission until I went into politics. I chaired Barclays Bank, now ABSA, and then I sat on Nico Insurance and a number of other institutions. So I stepped off those to start doing what I am doing now. People think that I just stepped off those to go into politics, but I've been in politics since 2001. I was a founder member of the original Heritage Party led by Brigadier General Godfrey Mianda. I was chairman of the finance committee of that party. So I only stepped up to do what I'm doing now, standing as president, when he decided to retire from politics in 2018. But I have been pretty involved with him since 2001. I am 65 years old. I turned 65 on the
Um,
30th of, sorry?
are you able to just speak up a little bit more?
I said I'm 65 years old. I turned 65 on the 30th of June. I am
Yes.
not married. I'm a single parent. I have a daughter and a grandson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Are you are you
Mom,
are you hearing me?
yes, I can hear you. Uh,
Okay.
So it looks like you've been in leadership for quite a while. How long would you say, whether it's in different spheres before you stepped into politics? How long have you been in leadership, and and what has been your experience of being a leader?
I've been in leadership for most of my life, really.
Okay.
I left. So even when I was working at Deloitte, you go up into positions of leadership in that you have a team. First of all, you have a smaller team, then a larger team, like that. And then after Deloitte in Botswana, I started my own firm. So I could say that my real, when I was really in charge of an institution or an entity,
Okay.
started in 1990, 92.
Yes. Yes. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives you a bit of experience, not even a bit, that gives you a lot of experience. Because I can't say that's a bit of experience. That's a lot of experience. And and let me say this. What has been your worst experience as a leader, especially a female leader? If Are you able to recognize some of your, because I think that people sometimes think leadership is an easy path, or you just wake up one day. Did you ever hit something that discouraged you, or what was like your worst experience in leadership that people out there who are aspiring to also pick up the mantle of leadership as a woman would learn from?
When I first went to, I became CEO of Zamnet Communication Systems. Now, that is a totally different field
Yes.
in my area of expertise. Okay,
Yes.
I'm from the financial world, and this is the IT world. So I was the first person to first woman to run an an ICT company. So the men there were like, huh, we're going to show her,
Yes.
that sort of
Yes.
thing. Although I'm saying that, I wouldn't really say it was a bad experience, in that
Mhm.
people will respect you if you act professionally
Yeah.
and if you do what you're supposed to do. So they quickly change their mind, and they will work with you.
Mhm.
Um, I know that people think that being a female leader, you always have problems with the men. It's not the case.
Mhm.
I know that some ladies will have a problem, but then I think that is because of interpersonal skills. You need to be able to lead people.
Mhm.
And if they have confidence in you, they will have no problem submitting to you.
Awesome. Awesome. You are
Yeah.
standing as a presidential candidate for Heritage Party.
Mm-hmm.
That's a different ball game altogether. Where did that passion come from? The inspiration. I mean, how did it come
Oh.
about? Was it your dream that one day you'll become a president? Was this something you saw yourself doing, or they were circumstances that brought that awakening in you to think you could do this?
Okay. So like I said before, I'm a very passionate Christian. I
Hmm.
study the Bible a lot, and I've studied the Bible a lot. So
Hmm.
you learn certain God's ways and certain patterns, and you learn certain things that God wants to do. So I've been an intercessor for Zambia, from the 1990s, and a lot of things that I'm doing now are informed from that, because there are certain things that you will learn.
Okay.
For
Okay.
example,
Yes, mom.
yeah, for example, Zambia has a calling. Okay,
Mm,
there's a
mm,
calling that Zambia has. Now, in
hmm.
order for us to walk
Yes.
in that calling, we
Mm,
need a leader that understands that calling and can actually deliberately help us to go towards that calling. So it's not
mhm.
something that can be done by somebody that does not have that understanding. Okay, so that's one of the things. But then also, um, God then takes you on a path
Mhm,
that leads you to where you are going. In 2000, I managed Kafue Textiles, and
mhm,
there I saw how government mismanaged the situation there, with people suffering, not earning
mm,
salaries for
mm,
6 months, sometimes 9 months and 12 months, things like that.
mhm.
So all of that touches you and leads you towards where you are going. I think that maybe the best example I can give is Abraham. God
Mm-hmm.
wanted just one thing out of Abraham. Okay, he did many things, but that led him to a place where he had so much faith that when God said, "Sacrifice your son," he could
Mm-hmm.
do it. So God takes you through this journey, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very convoluted. You know, some of the things you are doing, you don't even think it relates to where you are going. So I've known since 2002 that I would one day
Mm-hmm.
become president of this nation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a long time of waiting and watching and waiting upon God and taking the experiences and coming towards this decision. So this decision is not something that I suddenly jumped up and said, "Oh, I'm
Mm-hmm.
tired of being a corporate person. Now I'm jumping into
Mm-hmm.
politics." No, it's been a
Mm-hmm.
long time coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Mom, you've worked in different fields, and I'm trying to combine the aspect of leadership and a woman playing a critical role as you take up a position in prominent places. Apart
Mm-hmm.
from the one thing that you have shared on maybe having a bit of a challenge with men, but you align it by how you handle the situation. What are some of the challenges in that you have faced in leadership? And I'm talking general, just the
In leadership. Sure.
yes, in leadership.
Um,
Yes.
a leader will always have a problem because a leader uses mind sight. Okay, mind
Mm,
sight. Firstly, I think if we define a
mm,
leader is someone that takes galvanizes a group of people
mm,
um, towards a certain vision. So a leader will say, "Look, this is where we are, but this
yes.
is where we need to be," and takes that, um, inspires this group of people to go to where they ought to be. Right now,
Mm,
sometimes the going is tough,
yes.
but you still need to get to point B from point
Yes.
A.
Mm,
And to lead people towards that sometimes can be a challenge because you are seeing something that they are
mhm,
not seeing. So when you see it in your mind, you are
yes.
you know, and the way you need to get to that place is not the way the other people are seeing it. So
Uh-huh.
sometimes you have people complaining, and when
Mm-hmm.
they don't fully understand the vision or what you are doing,
Mm-hmm.
for example, when you have limited resources, they will complain.
Mm,
when they hit when they hit a snag, they will complain. When the
yes.
going gets tough, they will
Yeah.
complain. The other
That's true.
challenge that a leader will face is you will have people who have buy-in into your vision, but they don't have the
Mhm.
experience, they don't have um, the know-how,
Yes.
to do what needs to be done. So somehow you have to train them, or you have to get them to the place you want them to. And
Mm-hmm.
then also sometimes they have the wrong mindset. They've come for different reasons. Some
Yes.
people
Yes.
come genuinely, some people come for something else. I can
Mm.
even use the politics. Some people come because they think, she must have a lot of money. So they've come for
That
so
is
they've
very
come for
true. Yes.
so they've come for the money, then they find the money is not there, or
There's
they
no
start
money
to
at
complain.
all.
I'm not sure this is the right place. I should have gone somewhere else, and things like that. So
Yeah.
a leader will always have, the biggest
Mm,
challenge that a leader will always have are
mm.
people. It's people.
Yes.
Always people.
Yes.
You'll
Yes.
always have, because we're all coming from different backgrounds,
Yes.
and we have different mindsets, ways of thinking. But to
Mm,
take this group of people and
mm,
help them to become a team
mhm.
is a challenge. And then also, it's very lonely at the top.
Yes.
Yeah, as
Okay.
every leader knows.
Awesome, Mom. So, with these few challenges that you have said and talked about, how then do you as a leader overcome these challenges in as you're running as a leader? How do you overcome them? You've talked about people who first of all sometimes get a wrong impression, and sometimes all these 3 points that you have listed. How have you managed to overcome them and still, people trust you and you're still an effective leader? How do you come around that?
Excuse me. For me, I I I lean quite heavily on the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
and I learn a lot of things from there. Um, I I I refer to Nehemiah,
Mm-hmm.
who had, he came to convince the leadership in Jerusalem and said, hey, look, this wall is broken down. We need to build it. And this wall had been broken down for a long time. It was more like
Yes.
there were stones everywhere. And people became discouraged and said, look, this work is it's too difficult. But what Nehemiah did is he reminded them
Mm-hmm.
and said, look, the reason we are going through this tough time is this end thing that why we are doing this. It's always the why that is important. And
Yes.
if I may use the New Heritage Party, because we have gone through quite a number of challenges, and we've gone through all those people who are complaining and
Yeah.
everything. But at
Yes.
the end of the day, the reason people stay is the why we are doing what we are doing. When
Mm-hmm.
they understand the why, because Nehemiah told them, guys, think about your children and blah blah blah. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So this is
Yeah.
why we are doing this. So when you remind them, I think the most important thing as a leader is
Mm-hmm.
to keep talking, keep communication lines open with the people that you are leading. So you, first of all, you said, guys, let's do this, and then this is why we are doing it, this is how we are doing it. And then when there's a challenge, you say, you know what, this is a challenge, we've gone through so much, but don't forget the reason why we are doing this. And remind people that there is God, so that helps a lot.
Awesome.
um yeah.
Okay. Mom, you are the presidential candidate for Heritage Party, and the first question that rings in my head is, why Heritage Party? Why not any other party? What glued you to Heritage Party?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Remember, I was saying you remind people of why you are doing what you are doing. So
Yes.
Heritage Party is very different from other parties. A lot of other
Mhm.
parties, they talk about, oh, we'll come and fix the economy, we will
Yeah.
come and do this, we'll come and do
Uh-huh.
that. Now, we don't
Mhm.
start from that premise. We start from, there's a reason why, oh, sorry, this light has just gone off. There's a reason why we are doing what we are doing.
Mhm.
Um, and it's very, very connected to Zambia. I hope you
Okay.
can see me. I'm sorry about that.
Yes,
Um,
we can.
there's a reason why we are doing what we are doing. I mentioned before that Zambia's got a calling, but not
Yes.
only that, we are looking at the God factor.
Mhm.
Um, God, God is doing what He is doing in Zambia, and we need to understand that. We need to understand what God is doing now. When God created the nation, you look at all of us Zambians, all the tribes in Zambia.
Mm.
All the tribes in Zambia ran
Yes.
into Zambia at one time or another,
Mm.
running away from war, running away from diseases, running away from hunger, looking
Yes.
for a land in which they could find refuge, so to speak. So we all ran into Zambia, all of us, each and
Mhm.
every tribe. Some came earlier, some came later, but that's what happened. And
Yes.
we have been living peacefully together,
Mm.
coexisting. because we found a land of plenty, a land that God had provided for us.
Yes.
So one of our callings is we are a nation of refuge, and that's why you find that even every time there was a war somewhere, people ran to Zambia.
Yes.
And there's something, God is still continuing to use Zambia in that way.
Yes.
The other thing is, when God created Zambia, he put, knowing the future, he put wealth in this nation for the people that will be living here, for the Zambians, okay,
Yes,
which is
ma'am.
their heritage, their heritage. And he put a lot of wealth in here, copper, gold, mukula tree, the land, the water, everything. That is our heritage. Zambia is our heritage. The nation and the wealth is our heritage. By the
Yes.
way, every party gives itself a name according to what they are coming to do. Okay, like
Yes.
UNIP,
Yes. Yes.
Independence Party, MMD, Movement for Multi-Party Democracy. That's what they
Yes.
were coming to do. And we are
Yes, ma'am.
calling ourselves Heritage because we are saying the time has come for Zambians to partake of their heritage. So what we've had from time immemorial is we haven't had a leadership that realized that the copper, the emeralds, the everything actually belongs to the Zambians. So when you sell these things, you need to take something and keep a bit for the Zambians. But that doesn't happen. We haven't been married to our wealth. Maybe let me give you an example. So
Yes,
if
ma'am.
you go to Chifunkana's area, on top of the land are some of the poorest people in Zambia, really poor people. Beneath is some of the greatest wealth in the world. They sell those emeralds and they don't give a single ngwe to these people living on top. You understand? And that's what
Yes,
is
ma'am.
happening in Zambia. And we are saying that's why Zambians are not prospering, because we are not partaking of the wealth or what God left us. Zimbabwe has got its wealth. South Africa has got its wealth. It's for the South. He provided for us, but our
Yes.
leaders are not. If I have to use a Zambian word, tabalefikinisha ifintu vyolesatupela. You understand? That's why we are called the Heritage Party. The second
Yes.
reason why we are using that name rather than any other name is because I was a member of Heritage, but then also when you are starting something like what we did, I'm not a politician. So people, like that, I wasn't a known politician, and most of the people that are with me are not known politicians. Therefore, we needed something that would sell us. Okay, so we needed a name that would sell us. So right now, we don't struggle to sell us because we
Yes.
simply say, oh, in a party, and everybody goes, oh, yeah.
Yes. It's a
That's why
referral.
we stuck to that name. So the main reason we didn't join other parties is because our ideology is different from theirs. Can two walk together unless they be agreed?
So
Yes,
in many ways, you do agree with the philosopher and their belief system of how Zambia must begin to enjoy their heritage. That's a scope of Heritage Party. It's to make
absolutely.
it's to make people understand that they have an inheritance, and you don't
Absolutely.
give away your inheritance. You are entitled to enjoy your inheritance.
Absolutely.
Am I getting you?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Our
Mm-hmm.
leaders are like a father
Mm,
who goes away, makes a lot of money, comes
mm,
back, gives some of that money to the children next door,
mm.
some of the children on the left, on the right, behind, but the children in the house don't don't get some of that wealth. That's the way it is. Yeah.
Mm,
That's the way it is. And unless and until we start to for Zambians to partake of their wealth, then
yes.
we'll just be going round and round in poverty.
Mm,
I've been to most parts of Zambia, even as
mm.
I've been doing this, and before when I was running an NGO called
Yes,
Youth
ma'am.
with a Vision for Zambia. And the levels of poverty in places, most places, people have not moved on since 1964. I think it is a travesty before God. And I keep telling people that, you know what, at the end of the world, and we all go to God and we are rejoicing because now we have escaped from the cares of the world, and we'll go jumping up and down as Zambians. God will just say, "Imemwema Zambians, what's wrong with you? I gave you so much and you are coming to me in your poverty." You know, we are capable of doing so much more. And it's not written in the Bible that Zambians will go and suffer and Zambians will always be poor. We can, you know, we've got so much going for us. Zambians are some of the most intelligent people you've ever met. But we are not giving our people an environment in which they can thrive and become themselves. We're not doing that. And one of the things that, by the way, our slogan is "Let Zambians win," because every deal that we do as Zambia, we do not. We always disadvantage the Zambians. A Zambian will go to government and say, "Let's do this deal for government, which will benefit everybody." They won't give it to him, but another foreigner will go there and they'll give it to him. We are always disadvantaging the Zambians. Anyway, your questions, it's leadership, not me and heritage.
Well, it's leadership in relation to your party. So this is a platform where you get to also talk about your party, because if people are going to choose you as a leader, they have to understand the mindset of the people you are working around. So do not feel intimidated to talk about the Heritage Party, because that is your house. That is where you belong. And it's like me getting you out from there. And then we see, and then, you know, something just happens. So we're going to take a short break.
I hope what I said made sense to you as a Zambian.
It's made a lot of sense, Ma. And we're going to take a little break and we will be right back. Please stay tuned.
Zambia, our land, our prosperity. For so long, we have been robbed of our God-given inheritance. Here is the party that has been crafted to address the plight of the Zambian people. Let Zambians win. Zambia, our heritage. The new Heritage Party.
Zambia ni zigo latu, asieni antu akondwele. Zambia wa heritage, tonse ripide tika vote. Our land, our prosperity. Uminzi muzipatala na kumachalichi. Umuntu wakabira ni nani? Chipata sorwezi mpaka chisari. Chishala Kateka. Nobajende kumusanza musimbi wa bolangoyo. Chishala Kateka. Nabatuwasha sana umupusisha panafika. Chishala Kateka. Asibweni kulundazi mugumba mama wiza. Chishala Kateka. Chivote msogoleri we asiba vya chita. Let all Zambians win. Zigoni yatu tonse waguma yadi na komboni. Corruption free, uniting Zambians. Chitukuko chibwele muzigo. Amaketia mafama na si vosevanti. Muzigo mungale equality. Kumaba Chishala Muchinga Kateka. Kopa Belti Western na nega nega. Wakabira Chishala. Chishala Kateka. Balefwa Chishala. Chishala Kateka. Wakabira Chishala. Chishala Kateka. Balefwa Chishala. Chivote msogoleri we asiba vya chita. Let all Zambians win. Zigoni yatu tonse waguma yadi na komboni. Corruption free, uniting Zambians. Chitukuko chibwele muzigo. Amaketia mafama na si vosevanti. Muzigo mungale equality. Kumaba Chishala Muchinga Kateka. Kopa Belti Western na nega nega. Wakabira Chishala. Chishala Kateka. Balefwa Chishala. Chishala Kateka. Wakabira Chishala. Chishala Kateka. Balefwa Chishala.
Zambia, our heritage. Let Zambians win. The new Heritage Party. Zambia, our land, our prosperity. For so long, we have been robbed of our God-given inheritance. Here is the party that has been crafted to address the plight of the Zambian people. Let Zambians win. Zambia, our heritage. The new Heritage Party.
Zambia ni zigo latu, asiyeni antu akondwele. Zambia wa heritage, tonseripite tikavote. Awalanda wa prosperity, kuminzi muzipatala na kumatwalichi. Umuntu wakabira ni nani, chipata sorwezi mpaka chisali. Chishala Kateka, tubajende kumusanza musimbi wa bolangoyo. Chishala Kateka, nabatuwasha sana umupusu shapa nafika. Chishala Kateka, asibweni kulundazi mugumba mama wiza. Chishala Kateka.
Welcome back to the Voice of the Apostles. It is Prophetess Trish, your host, and we are live with the aspiring presidential candidate Chishala Kateka for Heritage Party. This is exciting. I'm just loving this. And for all of you who are watching, please feel free to ask questions, to make comments, and we will be addressing all those questions that you have at the end of the program. And we want to give Mom an opportunity. Mom, I said it, that there's no way I can bring Chishala Kateka and not talk about your house where you belong. So this is an opportunity for you to talk about the Heritage Party, the plans that you have. So everybody who will be out there watching, we would want to understand what is Heritage Party and what are the plans that we have around Heritage Party. Why should we vote for this party? Why should this party come in? So it is from that angle and perspective that I would like us to begin to look at it from that angle, where we begin to just make sure that we understand what Heritage Party is all about. So I want you to feel free. Talk about Heritage Party. Talk about your plans that you have, when you come into power. Talk about the benefits. So just feel free. And I'm just going to be a very good listener, following you step by step, because we want every Zambian who's watching us live now to really get an understanding behind Heritage Party.
Okay, so Zambia, as I said before, is a land that is endowed with a lot of wealth, but with very, very poor people. And one of the reasons is very simple. Like I said, it's because we do not partake of our heritage. And at the heritage, we are saying, look, it's very easy to come up with policies where, when you look, we've been watching copper since before independence, just going out of the country. We are saying that Zambia is not about, only about good roads and good buildings and hospitals and schools. It's about the people of Zambia. Okay, the people must be the focus. So if the people, you can develop Zambia up to 98%, but if you leave the people developed up to 5%, then you're not really doing anything. The reason why, even though MMD had very good economic indicators, the economy was really doing well, prices were not this high, people still said we want to kick these people out, is because they didn't understand this aspect of governance, that you need to marry the people of Zambia with their wealth. So if you sell copper, take a little bit, keep it for the Zambians. If you sell whatever it is that we are exporting, minerals, whatever, keep a little bit and save it for the Zambians, because the Zambians need a hand up, not handouts, which is what we've been seeing, but a hand up. We've got, like I said before, Zambians are very intelligent, but you need an environment, and you also need to start a pack, to start you off in life. But we don't provide that. So we have a situation where, especially now, where a lot of people are unemployed. they've got nothing. There's no safety net for Zambians. So they're just roaming the streets. They're just sleeping on the roads. You know, you're just passing by and somebody's just sleeping. You know, they've probably left home, told their wife, I'm going to look for money, and they don't know what to do. When you look at the young people in Zambia, and you're saying, oh, you know, they smoke this and they do that. You don't understand that because they are not doing what God created them to do, they are frustrated. So we've got to look at all of these things. At the Heritage, we recognize that it's not just the economy, it's the mindsets, it's a social, economic situation. You have to look at a holistic approach as a solution to Zambia. It's not a matter of just saying, oh, Defokuwa president, and you know, I've studied this and I've studied that. You really need to have the mind of Christ, so to speak, to be able to resolve the situations that we are in. So like I said before, our slogan is "Let Zambians Win." Why that slogan? Every deal that we do in Zambia disadvantages Zambians. And we're saying the time has come. Look, when a foreign company comes into Zambia, you give it a tax break. Why don't you give a tax break to a Zambian company? The moment you do that, you are disadvantaging the Zambian company because the Zambian company has to pay higher taxes, which means whatever they produce will cost more. So why are we disadvantaging Zambians all the time? So one of the points we are saying is our first point, you know, we've pulled out like 6 points. Our first point is tackling the economic balance of power in Zambia and tilting it towards Zambians, deliberately tilting it towards Zambians. When an investor comes into Zambia, they come in to make a return on their investment. They don't come here to develop the country. The only way we are going to develop Zambia is by developing Zambians themselves, because only Zambians can develop Zambia. The moment you start blocking a Zambian, you are stunting the nation of Zambia itself. We've got to understand the bigger picture here. Forget about what's in it for me. We are really doing ourselves a disservice. So the other thing that we are concerned with at the Heritage is that people are not being helped. You know, people going to State House and it's like it's a game. You know what I mean? But it's not a game. It's a serious issue of you accepting that appointment because that appointment is from God and taking it seriously and doing what you ought to do, which is to help the Zambian people. But if you go out there, it's each man for himself, God for us, or you know where this. Okay, let's leave it there. Let me not say too much. Yeah, yeah, that sort of thing. So, and also Heritage, the name, I'm just speaking to the name Heritage, is we are asking ourselves the questions. These to my toddlers, 2-3-year-olds. You know, Zambia has been going down for some time. If we continue along this trajectory, what sort of a Zambia are we leaving for our children and our children's children? We have a responsibility to leave a better inheritance for our children and our children's children. Otherwise, we're not really helping them.
Praise the Lord. That I feel like this is just so if you were to be chosen as president, or if Heritage Party came into governance, what are some of the things you would do differently as a party?
Yeah, one of them is what I just talked about, the marrying the Zambian people to their wealth and helping Zambians to get to where they need to become. So our manifesto speaks into our message. So, you can go on the internet and really write a good manifesto, but a manifesto mustn't start with, oh, we'll do this. You need to start with the why you are doing whatever you are doing. So our core message, our heritage message, is the Zambian person. So everything that we are talking about is geared towards helping the Zambians. Now, just we would like, for example, to get a lot of people involved in agriculture. Why? Because it's a low-hanging fruit. It's got low barriers to barrier to enter into it. Anybody can do agriculture. Start small and then grow large. Now, what's happening at the moment is, even when we have a bumper harvest, sometimes government will stop them exporting their produce. And we are saying, no, why are you stopping people exporting their produce, their maize? Meanwhile, some of our leaders, take things out at night. But when somebody grows let's take maize as an example, and you export to our neighboring countries, you've got Malawi, you've got Congo, you've got Angola, you've got all sorts of, we've got 8 neighbors who probably don't have the land that we do. It means people can earn foreign exchange so that our rate begins to go down. It means that they can earn a higher return, which means they can be better off. It also means that that higher return will enable them to grow even more. They'll be more encouraged. And number 4, it will encourage others to get into it. But then you use that produce and add value, okay? So don't just sell the maize, add value so that we begin to create manufacturing entities, create employment by those manufacturing entities. If I gave you a list of the companies we used to have, say in the 70s, 80s, or 90s, you'd be shocked. You'll be totally shocked at how many companies have been closed. We've closed so many companies, and that's why I said to the Zambian people, when politicians come and tell you, oh, I'll give you jobs, tell them you are lying. Where are you going to get the jobs since we've closed all these companies? So we would like to revive industries. So because there's a knock-on effect, there are job creations, you pay more taxes, you are able to export, you know what I'm saying. So there's a knock-on effect with regard to that. When you look at our educational system, for example, we have to be aware that our educational system, the way we have, was brought in by the colonialists who trained us to extract wealth out of Zambia. So everything that we do, they trained us not to become leaders or managers. They trained us to become people who they could use in extracting our wealth. We need to change that. We need to look at who we are and change our syllabus so that it suits us. In fact, we need to relook at ourselves. We are saying, sometimes, a lot of times we lose identity. We need to find ourselves, define ourselves, set our standards. When investors come, they must find that we have our standards. And we are saying, when you come in, these are the standards that you need to work with. And these must be reasonable, and these are something that are acceptable to all parties. But we must not always bend over backwards. Do you understand? For bending over backwards, our workers are being abused and things. No. So we really need to find ourselves.
Thank you very much, Mom. Remember, we are live on Dream Center TV and YouTube Gets of Glory. Please keep throwing those comments and questions. We will be handling them pretty soon in a short while. Mom, you have mentioned you are a strong Christian and you've been a Christian for a long time. Zambia is a Christian nation. Fairly, do you think that we have really done a good job at being a Christian nation? And I'm just literally talking about the different spheres of influence, whether this is in leadership or in the seven mountains of influence. And I'm just literally talking. Have we really done a good job when it comes to us calling? Because one of the things you mentioned was the issue of identity, and you
Yeah.
and we're saying we are a Christian nation. I think that goes without saying. Most people tell us, "Oh, you guys are a Christian nation," and do you really think we've done well at that name of being a Christian nation?
Not at all. No, no, no. We haven't done well. Unfortunately, because we're a Christian nation, it's something that is abused by whosoever, you know.
Mm, mm,
Everybody will claim to be a Christian even when they are not. And
mm.
as long as they mention Jesus and God and shan shan shan, should be happy. I think we could have done better. I think that you mentioned the seven spheres of influence. I was doing a radio program on Christian Voice called Possess Until I Return, and we were looking at the seven mountains.
Mm,
And I think we haven't done as well as we should have, because I think that our leaders,
mm,
especially in the spiritual, on the spiritual side,
mm,
could have taught us more, prepared us more than we have been prepared as a people.
mm,
Why do I say this? There was a day the Lord said to me, have you noticed that the book of Ezra comes before the book of Nehemiah? Ezra was
mhm,
a type of priesthood, okay? Now, Ezra, it describes Ezra in Ezra 7, you know, he gave himself to read the law, to study the law and to teach it and blah, blah, blah. When you read that, I mean, I think any priest should fashion themselves after Ezra. Now, Ezra came before Nehemiah to Israel, and he taught and prepared the people so that when Nehemiah, a godly leader, came, the people
mm,
were prepared,
mhm,
you see. And this is the pattern that should have happened in Zambia. Our
mm,
clergy should have prepared Zambians more,
mm,
instead of this issue of what do you call this? Um, Prosperity messages and all
mm,
sorts of prophecies and, you know, deep stuff that God is saying to us as a nation, because God deals with nations. God deals with nations, and Zambia, being a Christian nation, will have a lot to answer for. Why? Because Zambia is a beacon of light. We are supposed to be an example to other nations. Um, God wanted to use Zambia as a prototype in Africa so that other African nations can also look at us and say, wow, what a nation. And then when they
mm,
come to us and, how did you guys do this? We are supposed to say, it's because of God, you know.
mhm.
But because of the way we are delaying God's agenda for Africa, the whole of Africa, because of us. So we haven't done well at all. I could
Awesome.
talk for hours on that
No,
subject.
it's okay. We are on schedule. We want you to talk. So, quickly, maybe what are some of the areas you strongly feel we need to work on? And that would probably be in line with Heritage Party. We've managed at least to identify where we're not doing well, and I want to believe this is where the party will strive to make sure that they work on. So, Zambia being a Christian nation, and then Zambia ensuring that we reach to our place of heritage. What are some of the areas you strongly feel we really need to start working on?
Okay, so one of the things that I've noted is poverty makes you throw you begin to have a wrong mindset. All right? You begin to have a wrong mindset so that your thinking is very, very short term because of poverty. So we need to work on definitely our economy so that people are lifted out of poverty. It's very important to lift people out of poverty. And also, remember, I talked about our educational system. We need to start our young people thinking right from the beginning, because the Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So when we have people, we teach them right mindsets. By the way, when we were doing Youth with a Vision for Zambia, the NGO, we identified about 23 mindsets that are common to Zambians, which cause us to fail. Okay, so we need to be aware of things like that. But coming back, we need to look at the economy. We need to look at our governance system. We need to redefine ourselves so that we know who we are and we start to take pride in who we are, and we begin to rebuild our nation, which has lost a lot of character. We've lost our character, our Zambianness. And you know what? There are so many things that we need to do. Our manifesto is 52 pages, but it's a holistic approach that we need to take. Some of it is economic, some of it is social, some of it is, in almost every sphere. We need to do that. I mean, have you noticed, just an example, how people just lie about someone on social media, and it doesn't bother them? Do you see what I mean? So we begin to lose our nationhood because of what we are allowing. Yeah. For me, we are talking about a new breed of leadership. Not the same old politicians with the same approach to doing politics. Even our model of doing politics is not working for us because it's so divisive. It's either you belong this side or you belong that side. When God created Zambia, he put some of the good brains in each tribe, So every person has got part of the solution for Zambia. So now when you divide Zambia along political lines or tribal lines, it means we are operating at less than half the capacity, the thinking capacity. If you leave out people in one party and you just go with another party, you're not necessarily getting the best people. So one of the things, my passion is to make sure that we get the right people in the right positions so that we can begin to move forward.
Awesome. Mom, you mentioned about the new breed of leadership. A little bit of an insight when you talk about a new breed of leadership, when you talk about the right people in the right place. What type of leadership are we now looking into here when we talk
Okay.
about that?
All right. I'll talk about the political space. There are four types of people that aspire to become president. The first type of person is the one that says, if Prophetess Trish can be president, even me, I can also become a president. That person is not going to help us because they are doing it out of envy. The second type of person is that person who says, you know what, I've achieved this and I've done that, and kwa shala fyo kuba president. Okay, that person is not going to help us because they are doing it out of ego. The third type of person is the one that says, Mbagafye, I also want to go and eat what they eat in State House. I also want. That person is not going to help us because they are doing it out of selfishness. Okay? It's not about service. The fourth type of person is the one that says, I want to make a difference. I want to take Zambians and help them. By the way, my favorite definition of a leader is a God-chosen people leading God's people towards God's purposes and and destination for that group of people. So the person who says, you know what, I would like to help Zambians to get to where they need to get to. The servant type of person. The person that goes in there and says, you know what, I want to see what Zambia will be like in 5 years if we do the right thing at every moment in time. This type of person who's not going to say, okay, you are my cousin, but I can't give you this job because there's someone who's more qualified than you. The type of person that is not going to take a bribe, but will say, well, I can't do that because it's not helping my country. That type of leadership, that's the new breed of leaders we are looking for. People who want to make a difference, people who want to serve this nation. That is the type of leadership we are looking for. I know it's difficult, but David had those desperate men who joined him, but by the end of the day, they became the best army and were never defeated.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Mom, you have 5 minutes to speak to every Zambian watching you out there and convince them about Heritage Party.
Okay.
Whatever it is you
Um,
want to say, whatever you want, whoever you want to reach out, I will not disturb you in the next 5 minutes. Just pour out your heart. And thereafter, we will go into the comments and the questions that people have brought, and then we can answer that and be able to wind up.
okay. All right. So my appeal to Zambians is we like to follow the wind, because we we are not analyzing leadership. In 2011, we removed MMD and we said, let's take these ones because they are the next biggest party. But we did not analyze exactly the message they were giving us, and we did not analyze the leadership. And now we are 10 years down the line, and we could make that mistake again. If you are a believer, I would like to ask you to pray about the decision that we are about to make, because choosing a president is like choosing a husband. You don't live together for 1 week and divorce. You live
Yes,
with that
definitely.
person for 10 years. And what it means is that if that person is not equipped to do the job that they ought to do, we are the ones that are suffering. And it's not just those who make that decision, but even those who don't. It's a corporate decision that we are making. When you are choosing a pastor, a deacon, or an elder, we are guided by the Bible, and we are very careful. We don't just go to the market and pick the first person that comes along, come and lead us in church. And a church has only got, some churches are 500, 1,000, 20,000, but not much more. But we pay attention when choosing leaders there. So what happens when it comes to choosing leaders for 18 million people? Could we analyze the message? Could we analyze the leaders? As I said before, every party gives themselves a name according to what they are coming to do. UNIP came when we were in colonial times, and they said, Rane, we need independence. And they called themselves United National Independence Party. And for sure, they fulfilled their mandate. They took us from one dispensation to another. They were successful. MMD came and said, we need democracy. And we said, oh, yeah. They called themselves MMD, Movement for Multi-Party Democracy. And they took us from one dispensation to another dispensation. So Zambia is going through something like 3 independences, political independence, democratic independence, and this last independence is what we are calling the heritage. The last leg of a stool is this heritage thing where Zambians begin to flow in their wealth. If we don't flow in our wealth and we are always letting other people manage our wealth, we will always stay poor. The other thing that has begun to happen to us as Zambians, because of this poverty, because of this lack, We have begun to look down on ourselves. We have lost our dignity. And at the Heritage Party, we are saying we need to restore the dignity of Zambians. You know, we are always begging, even a mother begging a child. There's no person who likes to beg for things. Even talk time, after you've asked somebody, you feel very bad. But we have become a nation that we are always, oh, mpela kwechi, mpela. No. People, you know, everyone wants to have their financial independence. And let's begin that journey of getting to that. It doesn't take long to demolish a building, but it takes a long time to build something. So as we have seen our nation going down, it will take longer to build it up, but the sooner we start, the better. My appeal to Zambians is let's vote wisely and let's ensure that we leave a good heritage for our children and our children's children. Thank you very much.
Was aspiring presidential candidate for Heritage Party. Mom, I'm so honored and privileged to having heard your voice and having heard your manifesto for Heritage Party. And I know we have some questions that have been coming in as we have been discussing the subject on gender, leadership, and politics, and we're just relatively excited. So we're going to get into our last segment, and this is where we begin to answer some questions and comments that people have brought in, and see if we can handle them from that label. Amen. Praise the Lord. So we are getting into the questions, and I'm just so excited about some of the things that you have talked about. I think that if any child does not get their inheritance, they remain poor. And I've just been so interested at knowing at the fact that we do have an inheritance and we are supposed to get that inheritance. So let's see if we can take up some of the comments and questions that we have. The first one is coming from uh, Bol- Bolton DP, and it's saying, following the conversation, Mom, I like the fact that you are standing as a presidential candidate. We need more women participation, and it's a step further that you are running. What is your take on women participation in politics? The second one,
Um,
Mom,
okay,
we'll answer,
okay,
we'll read
okay,
three
okay.
questions and then you can answer them. Yes, the second one is from Hasman. He says, when you become president, how do you plan to handle number one, the Public Order Act, number two, tribalism, and number three, corruption and terrorism, and also how you would maintain and reduce the increase of cabinet ministers. And the last one is, what type of president would you be? Do you really think Zambians need ministries like that of the National Guidance and Religion Affairs? Okay, so those are the three. We'll handle those. I love those questions. They're deep, Mom. I love them.
I
So
know,
we'll
I
handle those
know.
and then we can move to the next ones.
Okay. Um, that Mr. Burton asked, could you put that question up again, please?
Okay.
Oh no, whether women should go. What is my take on women in participation in politics?
Yes.
God gifts people differently. Each
Mhm.
one of us has got a gifting, okay? And whether it's men or women, they have these giftings. And one of the things that we have done is sometimes, because of culture, we have taken out, certain giftings that women have, and said no, they can't do this, in spite of the fact that they have that gifting, which has been a mistake. Now, in the corporate world, they have done a study in the States, and they found that of the Fortune 500 companies, those companies that do not have women in top leadership positions or on their boards, they don't do as well as those that have got women now. Why? Because it brings a balance to the way people operate. I don't know whether it increases in competitiveness, but yeah, so they found that women participation actually increases the performance of entities. And I don't see why that should be different in politics. Women have got a certain aspect to them which men don't have, and men have a certain aspect which women don't have. A leader, a president is simply, being in politics simply means you become a leader and you begin to exercise that gifting that God has given you. I would like to read something for you. I think that will blow your mind. Do you know that before America had its first vice president, which is, was it last year when they had that election? Africa already had 26 female presidents and prime ministers. Do you know that Africa had its first prime minister, Honorable Elizabeth Domitian, from 1975 to 1976, before Margaret Thatcher became prime minister? Do you know that from 1975 to today, Africa has had 40 female presidents, vices, prime ministers, and deputies, and one chairwoman of the African Union Commission? Do you know that as we speak, Africa has 2 female presidents, Ethiopia and Tanzania, 3 vice presidents, Liberia, Zambia, and Uganda, 3 female prime ministers, Namibia, Togo, and Gabon, and 1 deputy prime minister. We've had women in politics since before time immemorial. We've had queens in England and in Europe and even in Africa. Remember the Queen of Sheba, remember Cleopatra. So this is not something that is new. That is something that has been ongoing. But it's receiving more acceptance now. Next question, please. If you could beam that up.
The next question was,
when you how do you this Public Order Act? Okay, so I think let me step back and say that in Zambia we have many laws. Some of them good, some of them maybe not so good, and the problem is that it can be abused depending on who, and it, there's a lot of selective application of whatever is happening there. So you can have good laws, but then you have people that are administering or supposed to make sure that that law works as it's supposed to, but they don't do that. So I'm not too sure that this Public Order Act is bad in of itself, as in the application. So it's something that we need to look at. Tribalism, I have noticed that people expressing hate speech, tribalism, etc., etc. But something else that concerned me is the way we respond to this tribalism. You see, we've got different tribes in this country, okay? 72, as far as I know. Could be more or less. But we have now, because of this tribalism and people talking ill of other tribes, we now want to suppress our tribes. You know, we want to now say, so that people are now feeling ashamed of being Bemba. So people now begin to feel ashamed of being Bemba, or saying I'm Bemba or I'm Tonga or whatever. I think we are making a huge, big mistake as Zambians. I think we need to turn it around and look at the positive side of who we are. When you look at each and every tribe in Zambia, they have strengths and they have weaknesses. If we begin to recognize the strengths of each tribe and celebrate each other, then there should be no need for anyone to feel ashamed of their tribe. If you look at the Lundas there in Northwestern Province, they are such humble people, God-fearing people. Let's celebrate who they are. When you look at Lozis, they are very intelligent people, and also Tumbukas, and also people from Luapula. Very intelligent, very, very intelligent. Celebrate that. Let them be proud of who they are. I've got like 3 Lozis close to me in the party who really help me think. You know, it's their gift. You know, so let's celebrate who we are, and let's be proud of who we are without putting others down. So let's not just say, oh, tribalism, and then people start to feel bad about who they are as so that they begin to feel ashamed because of their tribe. We need to turn this thing around. Otherwise, it will blow up in our faces. We need to encourage that. May I see the question again? I think I'm not done.
Yes.
Corruption and cadre. So one of the things we say at the New Heritage is we want to deal with these two. Cadreism. I want to just talk a little bit about why they are, the PF and the UPND fight so much. People think it's because they hate each other. It's not that. Some of them are friends, but they will fight and they will even kill each other. This thing, you need to understand the root of this it's, you call it political violence arising out of the cadres fighting. There is this issue we've started of giving markets and bus stops and certain things for cadres to control. So when the cadres in the other party see that, oh, is that how much money they are making? I think we would also like to make the same. That's that fighting that you are seeing. It's turf. These are turf wars. It's like gang wars because of control. Until we deal with that issue, cadreism as we know it in Zambia will not stop. Because these people, some of those guys at Intercity are driving VXs because of the money that they make there. But what are we doing? We are ruining our country because now we can't manage it at all. So we really need to be very careful with what we are allowing. So when if the PF lose, the Reds will take over and they'll start to manage those things. We have to do away with this completely. We must do away with it completely. And that's what is causing all of this and putting the wrong people who are not qualified into certain positions because they are cadres. Corruption, unless we deal with this corruption in Zambia, we won't develop because the country is bleeding financially. And until we bandage it up, it's bleeding through corruption. We do have money. We're not as broke as people make it out to be. It's the abuse of offices. It's the stealing. It's the misallocation. It's their misapplication and all of that. So we are looking at one of the things that happens is that there is when there's corruption, somebody does something, there's selective application of who you punish and who you don't punish. At the New Heritage, it doesn't matter whether you're a Heritage Party member or you are not, we will deal with you in the same way. Cabinet ministers, Okay, there are many questions here. I think his man whatever. We could send you a copy of our manifesto if you like.
Okay.
No, seriously. We would like to, we think we can reduce the number of cabinet ministers. I can't remember off the top of my head about what number we came with, but definitely, look, we've got 40 ministers in Zambia. Other countries have got 25. We were promised by this government that they would have 18. What are we doing with 40 ministers? You know, you don't create jobs like that. Yes, we could move to the next question.
Yes, we move to
Please.
the next three. The third one, which is, I think she's answered.
What type of a president would I be? Do you really think that we need
Oh yeah, you didn't answer that.
That's my secret. This particular question, when we start announcing, that's, you hear that one. I really have I think that the believers will be shocked to learn that I'm not too sure about this ministry as well, quite frankly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we pick the next three and see if we can push it to another level. We have a Justin Likuka. Good presentation, Madam Chishala Kateka. Help me by discussing how you would help improve the economy of Zambia and what is your plan for agriculture and value addition. Also, how do you plan to work with the true church, seeing that Zambia is a Christian nation? How will you deal with the space of the prophets and I can't.
Charlatans.
Okay.
Charlatans.
And the
A
next way.
very
Okay, so we handle three, then you answer them.
okay.
Yeah. Are you a politician, a state woman, or a patriot? How do you plan to mentor the young ones in leadership? And how have you found doing politics in Zambia, considering what we currently see in politics? A Christian, how have you managed? And then the last one. Those were the only ones. So you get to answer those two, and then we
Okay, so
can wrap
let's
it
go
up
back to
the first
Dr. Likuka's one.
question. Okay.
Okay, so the economy of Zambia, you know, we've seen how the exchange rate and price of everything has gone up. And I spoke about, in fact, I answered quite a bit of this during the presentation, because I talked about how we want to focus on agriculture. We want to look at how things are done. For example, we've got what we call FISP, but in Zambia we say FISIP. How we look at FISP, which needs streamlining for it to run well, but which in the long run needs to be re-examined, because it's helping few people. In fact, it's helping the wrong people. It's not the people who should be getting the help are not, because some people in between who are connected are the ones who are collecting what should be collected by the poor people. Agriculture and mining should be two of the mainstays in Zambia. We've been talking about diversification since I was in grade something. I am 65 now, and we still haven't done it. There has to be political will to do the right thing. And we see agriculture as the area that can easily infuse Zambians into this activity. So we have looked at helping, at setting up something that will help Zambians to access finance so that they can do this business. And not just agriculture, but small and medium-sized enterprises. And what we are saying is, we need to now, well, once we've set up all of this, we then need to go into value addition, because when we do value addition, we go into manufacturing and create employment, generate more money, and as the name suggests, you add value and earn more than what has been the situation before. So we have got what we are calling an economic solar system. We've identified 5 core sectors, which really need to be used to kickstart. Please don't take the question off. Which need to be kickstart, to kickstart the economy. Then there are some supportive sectors, as well as other sectors like education, health, which are enabler sectors that we would introduce. Also, so unfortunately, our economy is so messed up that you can't say we'll do this and then we'll do this. You have to do everything all at the same time. You've got the transport sector, which is absolutely essential. You've got to set up silos where to store grains. We sold all the equipment we used to have to South Africa, and now we are left with nothing. It's a very painful story about Zambia. How do you plan to work with the true church, seeing that Zambia is a Christian? This is a really, really tough question, because you have people who come in and say they are Christians. It's a very difficult question, and I think that for now, let me give it a miss, because it's a spiritual thing rather than, okay, I can see that you've done A, B, and C. But if you see that somebody is really coming in, for example, that man that was sent out of Zambia to South Africa, something like that you can do. But it's very difficult now as it is, because we've got part of the church that is lost and part of the church that is true. Do you see what I mean? And in-betweens. And I believe that the true church should be helping these others to come online. Just that they don't submit themselves to being brought back online. Yeah. So I find this a difficult question. Am I a politician, a stateswoman, or a patriot? I would say all of them.
Okay.
How do you plan to mentor the younger ones in leadership? So at the New Heritage Party, what you will find is, so my passion is to help. We don't call them youth, we call them young adults, so 18 to 40, to become who they are meant to become. So we've really encouraged a lot of our councillors, aspiring candidates at councillor level, the young people, and we are saying, come in now and work with us, because it's part of, it's like discipleship in politics. And that's how we intend, so that they come in and they learn from those that are doing it right. How have you found doing politics in Zambia? You know what? I think people who lie, they say politics is dirty. Those who walk that walk choose to do so, because you don't have to. We are totally different. We don't attack other parties, I hope. And we don't, we don't call people names. We are setting a totally different path from other political parties, and I think that is being appreciated by the electorate, and they say, "Wow, what a fresh of breath air." So you don't have to lie. By the way, I keep teaching speaking to our members, and I hear them saying, "Oh, then they'll tell a little lie in order to appease. And then I tell them, don't do that. Because when you tell the truth, you are setting yourself free. Don't lie. Firstly, when you lie, then you have to keep lying. Secondly, when I hear you lying, then I can't trust you because I'll say, so so yeah. So that's the way we are doing it.
Awesome. We have two more questions that have just quickly popped in, and we're just going to handle that and then see if we can wrap it up. I cannot see. Kindly zoom me in.
Do I have a heart for the people or not?
Okay. And the second one?
I think he should answer that.
Okay.
What?
Good evening, Madam Kateka.
Yes.
Please tell us what the first three things you're going to do to raise Zambia's confidence once you're in the office.
I don't understand the question.
The three things that you will do. What are the first three things
I've seen the question. I've seen the question, but when you say raise Zambia's confidence, what do you mean? Zambians' confidence or the nation? How do you raise Zambia's confidence in what? So it needs to be a bit more specific for me to answer it. Yeah.
Those were the questions that we had this evening, and I have been highly privileged and honored, Madam Chishala Kateka. On a lighter note, did Mom and Dad give you that name?
Yes. Which one?
Kateka, because I'm thinking, were they prophesying when they said Kateka?
My father's name, yeah, my father's name was Richard Insama Bena Kateka.
Bena Kateka. So do you think this has something to do with prophecy?
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
I was just thinking, I'm like, the name means Kateka, and she's standing as a president, and I'm just trying. This is just my crazy mind running. I mean, it's been awesome having you, Mom. I've been greatly privileged to have you on the Voice of the Apostles, and I'm glad we were able to hear your vision, and we are able to understand what Heritage Party is all about. Remember, 12th of August, we are going to vote. And what we are telling you is that you need to think, pray as you go and vote so that the Lord can lead you to the right person who has God's agenda. I think at the end of the day, the reason we are doing this is because we want the mindset of God to dawn on leadership. We want people to understand that there is a plan that God has for this nation. And until it gets and sinks into our leaders to begin to understand that, then we will never inherit our heritage. Praise the Lord. And so it's been an awesome time, but also remember that this Sunday we are having a town hall meeting. We're intentional this time. We want to get involved in what is happening. So we are having a town hall meeting at 14:30 hours. Get of glory. This is where we are bringing in the parliamentarians. We are having the people who are standing as MPs from different political parties, and we are saying, we want to know more. We want to establish a relationship with the church. Why are you standing? What's your motive? And what should we expect from you? Literally the same thing we've done with Heritage Party, but we are just wanting to know more about the people who are standing, who are the people coming into power, and why we should give them our vote, because that's the idea. People must think about the leader they are putting into power. They must pray about the people they are leading into power, and then they can go and vote. So 14:30 hours gets of glory in Ndeke. You will not miss the place. It's that white big tent as you're going to Ndeke. Make sure the church, if you're the clergy, this becomes an opportunity for you to know who the people are standing there and trying to get into power. Then we can establish a rapport and take it to a next level. Mom, you've been a blessing, and I'm so
Thank you.
greatly privileged to have you on this program. Thank you so much for coming through, and I hope on the 12th people can go and throw it in Chishala Kateka's party. Your last
Amen.
remarks?
Yeah. Thank you very much for having me and giving me the opportunity to share my heart. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to end this transmission. Mom, do you still have anything to say?
No. I think I have said it.
Okay.
Yeah. If anybody would like a copy of our manifesto, please contact us on Chishala Kateka for President.
Awesome.
On Facebook.
Awesome. So we're going to end up with a dance on for your party, and we're just going to do a bit of dancing as we play this track and back up this party together. Bye bye. Have a pleasant evening.
Bye. Bye.
Zambia, our land, our prosperity. For so long, we have been robbed of our God-given inheritance. Here is the party that has been crafted to address the plight of the Zambian people. Let Zambians win. Zambia, our heritage. The new Heritage Party.
Zambia ni zigo latu, asiye ni antu akondwele. Zambia wa heritage, tonse ripide tika vote. Our land, our prosperity. Kuminzi muzipatala na kumachalichi. Umuntu wakabira ni nani? Chipata sorwezi mpaka chisali. Chishala Kateka. Tubajende kumusanza musimbi wa bolangoyo. Chishala Kateka. Nabatuwasha sana umupususha panafika. Chishala Kateka. Asibweni kulundazi mukumba mama wiza. Chishala Kateka. Chivote msogoleri we asiba vya chita. Let all Zambians win. Zigoni yatu tonse waguma yadi na komboni. Corruption free, uniting Zambians. Chituku chibwele muzigo. Amaketia mafama na si vosevanti. Muzigo mungale equality. Kumaba Chishala muchinga Kateka. Kopa belti western na nega nega. Wakavira Chishala. Chishala Kateka. Balefwa Chishala.